Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast where we discuss the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival and other things. I'm Brooklyn.
And I'm Sharla.
And hey guys, I'm Daniel. This is going to be a little bit different of an episode since we're doing this kind of remote. I am recording from Cocoa Beach, Florida. I'm down here for work, and Sharla and Brooklyn are back at our house. So it's a little weird, so bear with us. We wanted to do kind of a special second part episode since Brooklyn, neither me or you were on last week for the lineup drop episode.
Right.
First impressions, Brooklyn. We haven't really talked with you about this. I haven't even seen you in person since the lineup dropped. I've been on the road. What were your first impressions when you saw it?
I was honestly blown away. As usual, the lineup always blows me away. I think I like this year's lineup better than I did last year's, to be honest. This year I've noticed a lot of the indie folk alternative bands that I was heavily into in 2018, like 2017, 2019, that era, like just the feel good stuff, like Saint Motel, Will Dorado, like just incredible undercards that I see, as well as a lot of good headliners too. I've been waiting a long time for Tyler, the Creator.
I know, right? So, Sharla, you have had close to a week for this to settle in, if you count, the leak that came a night or so before the official drop. Now that you have had a while to sit on it since last week's episode, like, what are you thinking this week?
Oh, I love it even more. There's a lot of bands that I've listened to that I was kind of familiar with, like I had heard of, but now I'm getting really into them. Specifically, Mannequin Pussy is one for me. Like somebody should have put me on. Like, y'all know that I love energetic, high energy music. Put me on. Y'all got to tell me about these bands.
Yeah, I've been finding a lot myself since I've been driving a lot, and I've been listening to one of the lineup things that somebody put on Spotify that has like 5 or 6 songs from
The
literally
playlist.
everybody. Playlist, yeah. It's been a long week, y'all. We might talk about that at the end of the episode. But yeah, here in a bit, me and Brooklyn are going to go day by day, just like Sharla and the ladies did on the last episode. But Sharla, you teased this before we started recording. I understand you have a little bit of tea to share.
So I can say that I have a source that tells me that tickets are going extremely well, are selling extremely well, I should say.
Oh, wow. That's a big deal for it to be selling that well this early. What was it? The canceled year, I think 2020 sold out within like a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it was sold out by March because I remember it selling out and then it getting canceled.
Yeah, there was just like 2 or 3
Yeah,
weeks from the sellout to be like, oh,
yeah.
wait, no, COVID's a thing. Never mind. That was
like,
wild.
Oh.
Yeah, we have been talking on our Discord. I genuinely do expect to sell out at some point. I don't know if it's going to be within a month like it was in 2020, but I would not be shocked at all if this sold out by like maybe even the end of May. I don't know. Do you want to put a guess on it, Charla?
Well, I don't know if we can really put a guess on that because it's just going to really vary.
Yeah, that's true because like from what I have heard, a sellout isn't necessarily dictated by how many people can be in Sinru. It's how many
Right.
campers they can fit in Outeroo.
Exactly.
There's only so much space out there,
Right.
and you have to consider like all of the RVs, all of the special tents that they put out there. There's just kind of a capacity. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe we can figure that out or call somebody or text somebody.
Right. The farm is only so big.
Yeah, and I would warn everybody, if you are on the fence or know somebody that is on the fence, I mean, it isn't our job to sell tickets, but it is our job to watch out for our fellow Bonnaroovians. It's probably better to go ahead and get tickets sooner rather than later because it is probably going to sell out at some point. You don't want to be left outside when this comes around in June, right?
Right. I've seen a couple of questions on Reddit, should I wait until May or can I wait until this spring? And I'm like, you can, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a risk.
Confession.
What's your question, Brooke?
I have a confession.
Oh, a confession. Oh, I'm not a priest, but you can confess anyways.
I have yet to buy my ticket.
Oh.
I know.
What's the holdup?
Money.
Oh, well, that's true. Well, if I was on their payroll, I would point out that they have the layaway option, but I'm not, so I won't. But yeah, I totally understand. I am glad that they do have that option for the layaway.
Yes. It's helped me in the past.
Yeah. I'll be honest, we use it pretty much every year because I just put my $25 down and then like I don't think about it for 2 months until it just
Yeah.
comes out. But yes. All right. So this is a bit of a weird episode since I'm traveling and we're doing this remote. So guys on our Patreon, please forgive us. We're not going to do the full list this week, but we do want to give you a shout out and point out that everybody can go to patreon.com/Rubus and support us with Totem. Sharla, I think we were talking with Skylar just earlier about some of our plans for New York. That's coming up pretty quick, isn't it?
Right. It's going to come up the weekend of February the 14th to the 16th. Totem will be in New York City. And on the 16th, we're going to have an event at La Palapa, which is in the New York City area. So look for some more details to come for that.
Yeah, we'll have more soon. We're getting that finalized. And I will say, if you're in the area, please come down. We used that same location last year. First of all, the lady that helps run that place is amazing. She was telling us stories of hanging out with the Ramones back in the day. It was worth going over there just to, have story time with like New York grandma over there. It was nuts.
I'm so
But
excited.
also, yeah, we're going to have a lot of other fun stuff too. We've been working on a new thing that we're going to do both in Nashville and New York. And Charlotte, remind us of the Nashville event.
Okay, so this Sunday coming up in Nashville, Totem is going to be at Rosemary and Beauty Queen. Make sure to come out for that. It's going to start at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, January the 19th. Totem will be at Rosemary and Beauty Queen in Nashville. Please, please, please come out and support Totem. Totem is so very important and near and dear to our hearts. It helps send underserved individuals to Bonnaroo, and it helps them experience live music events. And that's whether they want to be part of the next generation of just music festival fans or whether they want to work in the live music community. It just helps them experience that goal, helps them make their goals happen. So please come out and support Totem and support the Totem Foundation and what we're all about. 3 p.m., Rosemary and Beauty Queen in Nashville.
Yes, thank you, Charlotte. So that is this coming Sunday if you're listening to this episode on time. And again, we will get back to our list next week. But thank you to all of our Patreons. You can support us at patreon.com/Rubus. 100% of everything goes to the Totem Foundation for our scholarships, for our savings, for our international program, for administrative stuff. I promise it gets spent very well. Thank you for your trust in us. Now, Brooklyn, I think it's time that we get to the lineup day by day.
All right. Yes.
So we'll go back and forth. We'll let you start each time, but we'll start with Thursday. What stands out to you?
So on Thursday, there's 3 bands that stand out to me immediately. One of them I found by just listening to every single band, but the other 2 I've known about. But like I said, Will Dorado, I have always thought it was Wildorado, but
I did too.
My boyfriend confirmed that it was actually Will Dorado, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're fun, folky, just good vibes overall. It's going to be a really good show on the farm, I believe. I feel like it's going to be like one of those afternoon sets that you catch like underneath a tent or somewhere. It's going to be really fun. The second one is the one that I found just by listening to Thursday's artist. That's going to be Die Spitz. They are a female lead vocalist hardcore punk band, and they're going to be really, really fun. Just reminds me of like just being angry at men and just listening to their music makes me so happy. And then that last one is going to be Hey Nothing. I actually discovered them a month before the lineup dropped. They just popped up on my Spotify For You or whatever it's called, Discover Weekly. And this song called Maine by them came on. And it's this, I think it's a they them, I'm not sure, and then some skinny dude. And it's just a duo, and their voices harmonize together so brilliantly. They are amazing. They're like the second to last booked on that bottom line on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to them. I can almost guarantee you they're going to be on the Who stage. I can't recommend them enough.
All right, awesome. Brooklyn, speaking of the Who stage, I think we might get like lineup additions that would include artists on the Who stage here in a couple of months.
That would be amazing.
I'm still pulling for our buddy Wanda to play the Who stage.
Yes.
That still isn't impossible this year. All right. So I will give you a few that have stood out to me on Thursday. The first one that comes to mind for me is Wisp, WISP. That is an act that came up on that playlist that I've been listening to while I've been on the road. And they're kind of like low key, like just a little grungy. It's a sound that
Hmm.
I haven't really heard very often from very many bands, and it's super interesting. So I kind of want to check them out live if I get a chance. You mentioned another one that I was going to bring up. Hey, Nothing. They also came up in that playlist, and I've been very impressed as well.
Yes.
You kind of covered that. But I have to talk about the elephant in the room for Thursday because
Oh gosh.
magnets, how do they work? I don't know. I am going to at least drop by for a couple of songs from the Insane Clown Posse. I just have to go rubberneck at that and see what happens.
It's
I,
gonna
I
be
think,
nothing but juggalos, man.
well, I welcome them.
That's
Bonnaroo is
not
for everyone.
necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Look, I love this kind of booking. None of us saw this coming. There were no rumors of this or anything. We kind of got this with Guar last year, which was cool, but it wasn't like an insane surprise because they had been to the farm before. It had been many years. But who on God's green earth would have ever thought that ICP would ever come to Bonnaroo? It's not my cup of tea. I don't think I've ever listened to more than 2 songs from them, but by God, I want to go see it because I will never go see them otherwise. I think it's genius that they book something like that. It's insane. That's something that gets them in the news. It gets people talking. It will get people to that set. Those guys knocked it out of the park by getting something that crazy. And I can't believe I'm saying that. How do you guys feel about the whole ICP thing?
I've never really listened to them, so I don't have a opinion at all.
Well, I mean, clearly I haven't, attended the gathering of the Juggalos, but have seen
Have you?
the documentaries, and I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun times. It's going to be great fun times.
Yeah, I think that's the can't miss thing of Thursday. You got to at least drop by for a few
All
songs just to
right.
see what happens. It's nuts. Charlotte, has anything else cropped up for you on Thursday since you recorded last week?
No, just what I covered Thursday. I'm very excited about the Daniel Donato's Cosmic Country, the
Yeah.
little thing.
Another that I'll shout out really quickly is Dogs in a Pile. I've heard a lot of hype about them, and I've been listening to them a little bit on my road trip as well. I might go check them out if I have a chance. All right, Brooklyn, let's move to Friday. What are you looking forward to?
Okay, so I'm gonna address the elephant in the room this time first. I've waited so long to see glass animals on the farm. I cannot wait to see glass animals there. Because I remember in 2020 when it got canceled, they were booked. Or it was 2021. Because that it was one of those
One or
where
the other.
they were booked and then we couldn't go, but then we went and saw them in Birmingham at Avondale, and that was the first time that I had seen them. Incredible vibes during that show. So I'm really looking forward to finally seeing glass animals on the farm. Um, I'm gonna also say Of the Trees is my like Wookiee, like chill EDM. They're gonna be fun. A lot of EDM on Friday for me, like the Enzo. There's more too, but I haven't gotten super into anybody else, but I just know that there's a lot of good stuff on Friday. Um, and then the other one I never would have suspected.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Allie and AJ. All
Yeah.
my Disney Channel folks, if y'all like watched Cowbells, I turned around and watched Cowbells as soon as this lineup dropped out because I was like, "Oh my God, Allie and AJ, are we gonna actually get to hear potential breakup song on the farm? It's gonna be insane." And they recently released like that was a song that they released when they were like actively on Disney Channel. And they recently, like in the past couple of years, released a version that has, the word fuck in it. So it's kind of fun seeing that. It's like watching Miley Cyrus shave her head and blow dolls on stage all over again. I love it. But yeah, super excited for Allie and AJ. Never thought I'd actually get to see them live, but here we are.
Well, it's kind of funny if you think about it because how long ago was it that potential breakup song came out? It's been at least five
I
years,
want to
right?
say like 2010-ish.
Was it? Oh my goodness. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like it was back when.
Well, I'll be honest, it's not a band I follow, so I don't know exactly. But if you think about it, it's not that wild because a lot of Ruvians that are of age now to buy tickets and come would have been the
Oh
right
yeah.
age during that, the
Oh yeah.
release of that song. So now there's so many Ruvians who are thinking just like you are, like, what? That's amazing. Why would they get that? That's why they would get
Yeah.
that. They know their target
I
demo
mean,
very
that
well.
was the song that like when me and my old high school buddy would reunite and hang out, we'd just throw that on because it just throws back so many memories.
Yeah. All right. So for me, the most obvious are Goose and Tipper. That's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, Glass Animals. I'll be there. Shayna has already taught me into going into the pit with her. That'll be fun. But I want to call out a few that I don't think have gotten a lot of attention. I am a little surprised that Foster the People is billed that low. They have been like a pretty popular band. And for
All
them to be on
of
the
it
third
get me
line is a little wild to
pumped
me.
up kicks.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they do that song very often because, like,
Yeah,
you
it's a little
listen to your
insensitive now.
territory. But they have a lot of other good hits too. And as Skylar mentioned on the episode last week, we go in disco with this stuff. And I've never seen them, always wanted to. I'm very excited about that. Another one that has really popped up to me on my playlist is Cults. They sound really good. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where it's kind of like this dark indie kind of sound. I'm interested to see how that goes. And I'm going to also shout out Mannequin Pussy, just like Sharla did. I've been loving that as well. But also, we have to give a shout out to our friends, Flip Turn, who are also on the third
Yes.
line.
Uh-huh.
They are moving to big places in the world. They're over a lot of these bigger acts as well. Like, I think they could potentially be on The Witch. That would be amazing for them.
Their newer album is so good too.
I'm so happy for them. I feel
Right.
like almost like a proud dad. Like, oh, they played like our show. Now they're getting like all of these like great billings, It's kind of
Yeah.
wild. Like, oh, they're doing so
Dylan's good
well.
people.
I'm so happy for them. Charlotte, has anything else popped up for you on Friday?
On Friday, other than the things that I previously mentioned in the last episode, definitely Mannequin Pussy. I mean, I've been listening to them a lot, like a ton since the lineup came out. And, a lot of times on this show specifically, it'll be like, oh, Sharla, you haven't heard of this or that or the other artist. I spent so many years of my life as a church going good Southern Christian lady. So no, I had not previously listened to the lyrics or the songs of Mannequin Pussy. No. So yes, I've been really, really into Mannequin Pussy lately, or since the lineup came out.
Yeah, I can see why. Also want to shout out the Red Clay Strays. I did not think I was going to like them as much as I have after I've heard a song or two. Like, that is a much more hard rock kind of country sound. Like, it's very different. I haven't heard anybody else like that. I'm interested to see how that goes. Brooklyn's got something.
I have one more that literally just popped up for me. Leon Thomas.
Tell us about him.
Leon Thomas, if again with the Allie and AJ thing, you grew up in my era, you watched Victorious on Nickelodeon. Well, Leon Thomas is the guy that played Andre in that show, and he
What?
had the voice of an angel. I remember Kayvon mentioning that Leon Thomas was on the lineup, but I hadn't seen his name, and I just saw it finally. So we're gonna be catching that show too.
You're the first
Okay.
person I've heard to mention that.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't heard that anywhere.
Leon Thomas is incredible.
Leon Thomas is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor. After early roles in Broadway and providing the singing voice of Tyrone on the Nick Jr. animated series The Backyardigans.
Yes.
What?
Played Andre on the Nickelodeon series Victorious.
Now, I did not know he was in Backyardigans. That's insane.
You're the first person I've heard to mention anything
Well,
about that.
Here we
Wow.
go.
No, apparently that's how you make it in the music industry, because didn't Sabrina Carpenter voice a couple of
Yes,
cartoon roles?
Sabrina
before she
Carpenter
started
was
doing-
also on the Girl Meets World, which was the sequel to Boy
Oh
Meets World.
yeah.
She
I
was
totally
the best
forgot.
friend.
Charlotte, apparently she was also a guest star on an episode of Law and Order SVU a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We'll have to find that. We probably saw it and didn't realize that was her.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, Brooklyn, let's move over to Saturday. Tell us what you're hyped for.
Okay, hang on. Let me get back to the lineup real quick.
Well, I can
Ooh, I got it.
give a shout out to Lacey because she told me that she's very excited for Olivia Rodrigo.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to have Lacey on the farm.
She
All right.
texts me every day about it. She blows me.
All right. So I got Mount Joy. I've been wanting to see, they're another band that I've been wanting to see since 2018 or earlier. They're real good. Jesus Drives an Astro Van.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just saying. Another one is Hot Mulligan. I'm
yeah.
so excited for Hot Mulligan. I've been dying for like a good newer punk band on the farm. So I'm really excited that we got Hot Mulligan. I wish it was Pup, but I'm
I
okay
know
with
me too. Or
it.
Fiddler. Would love to have seen them again.
Yes. And the other one is Gigi Perez. Gigi
Okay,
Perez is insane.
you got me on her months and months ago. You were the first
Yes.
person that I heard shout out Gigi Perez. This is an extremely interesting artist. They have a sound unlike anybody else that I've heard. Maybe you can help describe it.
So there's a song called The Sailor Song, and it is absolutely beautiful. And the first couple of times that I've heard it, I always thought it was a man singing.
Yeah, same.
Like a voice similar to the lead singer of Mount Joy. Um, no, it's a female, and she's incredible. She like layers her voice um like dozens of times to create like this vibrato that is insane. She's just so talented, and it's emotional, deep music too. It's good stuff.
I can't wait to see how that happens live because that seems like something that happens in studio.
Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'll go to that with you because I want to see
I
for myself.
follow her on TikTok.
Well, you and many others, I'm sure. Anything else on Saturday?
Jade Cicada.
Yeah, yeah, that's one I want to check out as well. I was just having lunch with
Bumps.
Calliope, those ladies today, with Andrea and Delaney over in Orlando, and they gave a shout out to Jade Cicada. I'll bring them back up here in a little bit because me and those two had an interesting conversation. I want to get your take on it as well. We'll
Heck
do that after we get through all the daily stuff. So Saturday for me, one of the top of all of Bonnaroo is going to be Justice. I have always been peripherally aware of them, but since I knew they were probably going to be playing Rue, I've been listening to them a lot more and seeing videos of like their live shows. They are almost literally the successor to Daft Punk. They have kind of picked up to from where they left off, and it's just a coincidence that it's two French guys on stage doing like, a mishmash of EDM and other things. I
hmm
can't wait to see what they are going to do live. And I really, 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 really hope that when Rue puts out the schedule, they are on the what. I don't think it would serve them or us very well if they were on the which. I know that they can do almost everything also on the which, but the sound isn't that great because there's
Hate
sound
the
bleed
witch.
coming from the other stages. There's those giant trees that are in the way. So if you're not up front, you're not going to see all the crazy visuals that they're going to have. I
Yeah.
think the what is just a no-brainer for Justice, and I think it's going to be a big letdown for everybody if they're not on there. I think they have to be. Maybe they can do a late night show like they did for Dead Mouse back in like what was that, Charlotte, 2014, 15, something like that.
Yes. Hmm.
So
It's
I
like,
really hope they do that with Justice. I'm really encouraging that. A couple others that shout out to me or that stand out to me. Sharla, you and I have to go to the Nelly show. There's no way we
clearly,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be wild. Every elder millennial at Rue is going to be
Yeah.
at that show, and are probably going to be taking their clothes off. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Kids are wearing
Another,
clothes to begin
I
with.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Another that I don't understand why it hasn't generated more conversation is Modest Mouse. They
Yes.
were one of the biggest indie bands for a handful of years there, and it's wild to me that they're in the smaller font and they're not getting more talk. I will absolutely be at that show. Brooklyn, me and you saw them in
Yep.
Huntsville like what 2 years ago.
They were good, although the venue sucked, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like we need a redemption show for them because the band was good, but listen,
nobody had, I mean, it was a show in Huntsville, so obviously nobody was dancing. It was
yeah,
just
that too.
overall kind of horrible vibes, but the music was great.
They're great. But look, I'm just going to say this: like the Mars Music Hall in Huntsville, the sound is just, at
Ugh.
least at that time, was not good. Maybe they've improved it by now, but
Mm.
I've joked about this. When Isaac from Modest Mouse was talking in between songs, he sounded like one of the teachers from Charlie Brown. It was like wah
Yep.
wah wah wah. You couldn't understand a thing. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
So I want to see them at Rue to make up for that. Jade Cicada, we already talked about. I'm very happy to see them. Kind of a hip hop act that caught my eye is Action Bronson. I know that a lot of people had been familiar already. I was not. I thought it was kind of interesting. Beat it Booby, Beat it Booby, Beat it
Bee
Booby.
boobie.
How do you say her name? I kind of want to check
Bee
that out.
boobie.
I've liked her sound.
Bee ba doobie.
Beat I can never say it right. I know how to say it right, and I still can't say it right. Yeah, yeah. And also, I want to shout out Dope Lemon. They came up a number of
Yes.
times on my playlist. I like that we're getting a lot of sad boy indie again this year.
Yes.
I think Bonnaroo is going to be happy because I know these kind of bands are his jam. And I can't not at least stop by this pool party thing and see what happens.
Oh, yes. That's gonna be insane.
Are we going to show up in like our
Last
swimming
thing.
suits and bring the inflatables like Skylar was talking about?
Oh, I was about to say, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you not listen to the last?
Oh, I listened. Yeah. I kind of went in on that too if there's no big conflict.
I had so many people text me saying, "You're a Bonnaroo expert. Are they actually getting a pool? Is this gonna be an actual pool?" I'm like, "No.
No, no,
Come
there's
on.
no way. It would
Come
be
on."
disgusting. There's
Yeah.
no way.
No.
Did you not listen to the last episode? Does nobody listen to the episode?
I listened. That's why I brought it up because you guys were talking about that. I'm just saying I want in on that party too.
Everyone didn't.
Yes, I did. I promise I did. Charlotte, anything else stand out to you on Saturday you discovered this week?
Um, yes, Destroy Boys. They
Oh,
have,
tell us about them. That
they
one
have a
isn't
song
one I've
with
really listened to.
They have a song with Mannequin Pussy.
Oh, well,
They're really good, so check them out.
that
So let's
makes
move
sense.
on to Sunday.
All right.
Daniel, what's your picks on Sunday?
Oh, you want me to go first this time
Yeah,
around?
sorry. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Skylar, her and I have a pact to go troll Vampire Weekend and give them the most ridiculous requests at the end of their set. But seriously, though, I have been dying to see them for 2 or 3 years now because they essentially have rebooted and reinvented themselves as kind of sort of a jam band. We saw them way back in 2014 when they were running their second or third album. I can't remember. But now they're doing so much interesting stuff. Their latest album, I'm not the biggest fan of, even though I think it's
Love
cool that
it.
they tried something different. But I like the album before that very, very much. And I just want to see them jam, man. That's just going to be so much fun. I hope they get an extended set so they can really goof off with it. But another one for me that is one of the biggest gets for me and is a must see. I am overwhelmed with emotion that we are getting Royal Otis. I have wanted to see them so bad. And this is one of my favorite things when you get to see one of your favorite new artists for the first time. Like, it means a lot to me. I am so pumped to see them. Nobody is going to get in the way of me getting on the rail for that show. I will be ugly crying. I'm so happy we got them, and I can't wait to see them. Treaty
How
Oak
did you
Revival also kind of caught my ear. What's that, Charlotte?
I'm sorry. How did you hear about Royal Otis?
How did I hear about Royal Otis? Brooklyn got me on them. What, a year or two ago?
2
2 years
years
ago.
ago, and you were not into them at all.
It had to take a while to settle in, I guess. I don't
No,
know.
you just hated them. But you didn't
I
listen.
don't
You
think
like,
so.
oh no.
I don't
Listen to
that's
Tame Impala.
well.
And now
You planted the seed that grew into a mighty oak.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. It is because of you.
no, it's not.
Other than that, I'm going to try to go swing by and see Queens of the Stone Age because Lacey loved them when she saw them over at Shaky Knees. I'll probably take her back to that if I want to. Big Gigantic is always fun. I'd like to see Saint Motel if the schedule allows. I've been digging their songs. I've been listening to on my playlist.
You've taken all of mine, bud.
Well, tell me yours then.
Saint Motel has been one of my favorite bands for years now.
Well, we shall go.
And when I watched this movie called Mr. Right. It's got Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick in it, and it's such a good, cute little film. But the intro song is My Type by them, and when I turned on that movie and I heard that, I was like, oh my God, Saint Motel is getting big. They haven't released another album since. It's fine.
Remind me, have we had them at Rue before? I kind of feel like we did.
No.
We
No,
haven't?
because I've been waiting for them for like since 2017. Um, Natasha Bedingfield, and I'm telling you, if you guys aren't there in that field singing screaming the songs to Unwritten with me, we ain't friends no more. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. God, I can't wait. I
That's
cannot
gonna
wait.
be
And then of course Remy Wolf. Remy,
yes.
I got into her
Now,
like last
Brooklyn.
year. She's so good.
Brooklyn, there's one that neither me or you mentioned that I think me and you are both into because we have seen these individual artists separately before. LSZ is going to be there. We have to try to find time for that.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
kind of slipped under
completely
the radar
forgot about
because,
that.
yeah, they had to change the name of their like little
Yeah,
Beezy
it's
Beat
closing
collaboration.
in LS Dream.
It
Uh,
is.
their combo, dude, I'm so excited.
I feel like we were there at the birth of LSZ
Oh,
because
we
they
were.
played at Okeechobee together and they became good
Yep.
friends and started collabing.
I didn't know that's what that was.
That's what that is. I feel
I
that is
didn't
probably going to be the late slot on the other, kind of like Rez was a couple of years ago. Like, right,
Yeah.
remember that night Rez
It
played
might
right
be
before
during Queens
Stevie
of the Stone
Nicks.
Age.
Okay,
Yeah,
number one, I did not know that's what that was, that was Cozy and LS Dream. And number two, did not know that's how you pronounce that you say LSC.
LS.
LSZ.
I thought
That's
it was
so cute.
Lazy or something.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Lazy.
And look, just like you guys last week, all of this is preamble to the fact that this is essentially a King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard festival.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is confirmed that they will be playing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Apparently, it's going to be 3 different stages and 3 different kinds of sets. I've
Oh
been
boy.
talking with Andrew, and we don't think it's impossible that we're going to get one of their synth sets one night. Um, Other than that, there isn't a lot that we know. It's going to be, but in any case, it is going to be absolutely insane. I think they're going to be given free reign to do whatever the heck they want, to play as long as they want. They are our artists in residency for this year. This is essentially a King Gizzard festival to me now. Like,
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
yeah, look up that video if you haven't seen it. This is grandma that's like trying to like read a sticker on the back of this dude's car, and she's just like so offended by the very thought of it. It's so funny. But yeah, the only thing that's going to get me away from the King Gizzard set at any point is if I have to skip them to go see Royal Otis. Other than that, nothing stopping me from seeing any bit of King Gizzard. Like even Lacey is pumped to go see them. This is wild. Like, yeah, I would have loved to have seen Tame Impala on my birthday on that canceled year. I would love to have gotten a current set this year for the 10th anniversary. This is as good as those things. King
Yeah.
Gizzard, 3 nights, doing whatever the heck they want. Thank you guys that booked this thing. Thank you, Brad. You got me what I wanted. This is amazing. What do you got, Brooklyn?
Now, I have one thing that I actually do
Yes.
want to discuss that I'm really, really, really kind of pumped about. And it looks to me like, we're never going to get Calliope back. However, it looks like they have completely just changed it, and we're getting the Infinity stage with the 360 spatial audio experience. And I saw what the festival tweeted or put on Blue Sky. He said it's like a structure that is bigger than any of the tents in Centeroo, and it's all immersive sound, and they tested it's never been done at an American festival yet, and they tested it out at this festival in Asia, and it went over very well,
Right.
and Bonnaroo is going
It
to be the
was,
first to have it.
it was
Right.
in Thailand.
Yeah. Oh, Wonder Fruit. So I'm super pumped to experience that. I'm just wondering where the hell they're gonna put it, if it's bigger
Yeah.
than any of the tents.
Yes.
And it's like a whole structure. So, and I'm wondering, like, is the sound gonna bleed to other
No.
stages? Like, what is it about?
No, because it's
Yeah, we
Oh,
all have these questions about this. I had been talking about this with Andrew, and the only place that we can guess that it could reasonably go is that back corner where the Who stage has been.
right.
Because if it's so big that it's bigger than the tents, I don't know where you put it if you don't want to
Right.
account for sound bleed.
I think Centeroo is a lot bigger than you think it is, and I think that it can be expanded. I don't know for a fact, but I think that it maybe can be expanded. The farm, let me say this, the farm is a lot bigger
Yeah.
than
Well, yeah.
They
Well, I
might.
mean,
it's 700 acres.
Yep.
so that's a good point, Charlotte. Maybe they could cut into the trees somewhere because
I think
that
they
area for Where in the Woods wasn't always Where in the Woods. It used to be some kind of
Right,
VIP experience or something.
right.
And I don't know for certain, but it feels like they cleared out some of those trees to make room for what they are doing there these days. So maybe there's some spot that has never been part of Cinderoo that they can expand the walls around. I don't know.
Right.
Or is it going to be in Centeroo at all? Like it might be out in the campground.
No, it's in Centeroo.
Oh,
It
okay.
will be in Cinderoo or what may be a new part of Cinderoo. We just don't
That'd be
know.
interesting. I'm excited regardless for it because it's almost like we're getting Calliope back, but like even
Yeah.
better.
I am very encouraged that they're trying something new. I
Yeah.
do think that if they just copied and pasted every Bonnaroo from year to year, it would just grow stale for so many of us. So the
Right.
fact that some things come and go, I mean, yeah, it sucks to lose things, but it's also cool to get new things that we haven't had before or any other festival has ever had before for that matter. But
Right.
yeah, I am worried about the sound bleed with these things because like if this thing is supposed to have this like next level sound, it's not going to be as enjoyable if you can hear like ICP screaming about their homies from the other side of the farm. I just don't see how that works. And Corey did mention on the Festiverse Discord that a lot of it was going to be chill stuff. So if there's some rage or show happening the next tent or stage over, it's kind of going to mess that up. But I'm sure they're thinking about these things. I just have those concerns for the same reason that I was concerned that Justice really should go on the what. But hey, I'm not the expert. There's some things I know well. This is not necessarily one of them. There are guys and girls that do this professionally all the time for Rue, and I'm sure they're already thinking about these kind of things. I just hope they think about it from the fans' perspective. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking about things from like a backstage perspective, and this isn't necessarily just related to Bonnaroo. This is with any festival or show. You got to put yourself in the fans' shoes, and I think they
Right.
do a lot of the time. So I'm not that worried. You sounded like you had a thought there, Sharla.
No, I said right, exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that covers it. And there's a lot that we probably haven't discovered yet. I don't think I've really scratched the
Oh,
surface on the playlist that I've been listening to.
I've
Um,
only dug deep on the artist on Thursday. I haven't dug deep on anybody else.
yeah, you'll see a lot of these playlists pop up on Spotify and even Apple Music, where people break it down by day, by genre, all these different kind of things. So
I
shout
hope to
out to
see
the
the
real
Venn
MVPs
diagram
that
this
do that.
year.
Say that again, Brooke.
I hope to see the Venn diagram this year on Reddit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will at some point. That's a lot of work. Somebody's doing the Lord's work to make
Yeah,
those kind
for
of things.
real.
Yeah, it's been a different person each year. So if someone
Yeah,
wants to step up and make it, by all means.
yeah. Just don't let the commenters get to you because somebody will come in there and be like, "Well, actually, this is this genre,"
Oh, that's yeah.
but that's a whole other matter. All right, now I want to get you guys' opinion on something. Like I said earlier, I was hanging out with the Calliope ladies in Orlando today, and I posed a question to them that I want to pose to you. Do you feel like there's enough female representation on this lineup?
There's never enough female
Right, that's what I was
representation,
gonna
to
say.
be honest. Um, there are a lot of female artists and bands that I'm looking forward to more than I am male, but that's just coming from a female's perspective.
Yeah, I
Um,
do think it's a lot
headline
more than it has been.
headline wise, I want to say
Well,
I
on
don't
Saturday
it's
you
not
have
fifty
Olivia.
fifty. It's not 50-50. It might be right under 50-50 though.
I don't
Yeah,
know because I haven't done the math enough to break it down.
yeah. I
I would have
mean,
to answer that question honestly, I would have to literally count out each and do the math and all that stuff. To
I'm
answer,
sure somebody has. Let's
yeah,
revisit this next week.
to
The
answer,
Saturday though, with the two top with Olivia Rodrigo and Avril Lavigne being the top two, that's good to see.
to answer it analytically, I'd have to do the math and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's like an Instagram or Twitter account that literally does all that stuff. I forget what it's called, but it literally analyzes like festivals and stuff like that for women in music and women in live event music,
Yeah.
and does all that stuff, which is really super cool. So I don't want to answer it without actually doing that math.
Right.
Yeah, I understand. I think there is, like you said, there's an account that does put out a poster where it admits all the men. So that gives you a better idea of like how many women are on the
Right.
lineup. And when I talked with the ladies in Orlando today, they were like, yeah, admittedly, it is better, but they still want to see more on there.
Right.
I think it is an important conversation to have about these kind of things. Wow, that's funny because I was talking about Andrea and she just texted me a picture that we took together. Wow, that's funny. Andrea, when you hear this, that's wild. So another quick conversation I want to have too, since we're kind of, taking a step back and evaluating this lineup. I think we also need to take a look at how much representation there are for LGBT artists. We can't just look at the lineup and know, because there could be some
Right.
them days or somebody on the rainbow that we just are not aware of. But I hope that somebody quantifies that, like how many artists represent that. I think it's an important conversation to have because it's in Tennessee, and I'm not going to get into the
Right.
politics of it, but I think it's important that Bonnaroo champions that community, and they do with the House of Yes and many things. But I think we need to have artist representation as well.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you asked about the women, on the lineup, I was like, well, that's great, but I don't think you can just look at the lineup and say, is there enough female representation on the lineup? You have to look at, because Bonnaroo is not just, well, for me, Bonnaroo is not just the lineup. I'm not just like, oh, I'm going to go to Bonnaroo and see
Yeah.
only the music and go to only the concerts and then go back to my tent and go to sleep. No, I'm going to the festival. I'm going to the House of Yes. I'm going to
Yeah.
the activities in Outeroo and Centeroo, or in Outeroo in the plazas. I'm going to meet my fellow campers, whatever. You have to look
Your
at
homies.
yeah, the overall picture, like the whole festival, and say, is there enough female representation? Is there enough LGBTQI plus representation? Is there enough minority representation overall, the whole entire, landscape of the festival, not just the lineup?
Yeah, you're totally right. You're absolutely 100% right about that. And I think that's important. And again, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but we have heard from people that we won't name that a lot of people feel uncomfortable coming to and through Tennessee,
Right.
given so many things that are happening.
Mhm.
And I feel that us as a community have to do whatever we can to continue to make them feel safe and welcome. So you're right. It's not just a lineup. It's a ton of things too.
Like you said, I won't get into the politics of it, but making people feel welcome in a place like that is extremely important to me. If you go there and you show up and you don't feel welcome, you're not going to come back. But I've been in situations where I don't feel welcome, where there's, I'm the only female there, where I'm the only person, where I'm the only person of my experience of, my background.
Yeah.
I don't feel welcome. I feel so uncomfortable, and I don't go back to that place. I leave,
Right.
whatever. So just making someone feel welcome and included is so important. I was the kid that got bullied a lot. So just making people feel welcome and included and including them in activities is so very, 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 very important. So you have to look at the overall picture, and that goes all the way from the top down to the very, very bottom.
Yeah, I agree. And that is something that is on us as a community just as much
Exactly.
as it is the people backstage. So I think that's going to be a conversation that we'll have in the next couple of months. And it's a positive one to have because there's a lot of fun stuff that we can do to make sure that everyone is welcome. And by the way, everybody is always welcome at the bus. You know how we are. Like, we'll never turn anybody away once we're there. All right, so guys, I do think this is one of the best lineups in a very long time. I dare say this is probably the best since 2019. How would you guys rank it? Would you put it in the top 5 of Rue lineups ever? Because I think I would.
Yeah. Easily, like maybe top 3.
It's
the top
2. Yeah, I gotta let it sink in some more, but it's definitely up there. This feels the variety and depth of it feels like the lineups that we should have gotten in 20 and 21.
Yeah.
It's the variety for me.
Yeah, exactly.
There's really something there for everyone.
Yeah.
The flavor.
Yeah. There's off the wall stuff. There's a little bit for everybody. It really does feel like those canceled lineups. You know, we were talking about redemption sets. This feels like a redemption lineup. I had kind of joked with a lot of people that Bonnaroo was competing with a ghost of itself for a couple of years there, because every time we got a lineup for 2 years there, everybody be like, well, it's good, but it's not as good as 20 would have been. We were competing with that ghost. And now I feel like we finally have vanquished the ghost. Like the Ghostbusters have come in. Rufus is a Ghostbuster now. I don't know. Like now they don't really have to compete with themselves because this is as good as that would have been. So that combined with the King Gizzard thing, I think this one is not just a home run. It's a grand slam. I think this is the absolute best lineup they could have booked in the year of our Lord 25. It's fantastic. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Are you excited to see King Giz?
Are you kidding? Of course I am. Like me and you were supposed to go to Austin to go see the marathon show, but like things got in the way. So now again, theme of the day, redemption. But yeah, so we'll get out of here in a moment. But Brooklyn has reminded me that we should take the opportunity to do some weekly picks because I think yes. What do you got for us, Brooke?
You go first.
Me go first? I don't really have anything. I can give you kind of a weekly pick. I played baseball all week and had an amazing time and made a lot of new friends. It was basically Bonnaroo for Braves baseball. I played 6 or 7 games with a lot of guys that quickly became like really close friends. A lot of them were close to my age from places like Atlanta or Austin or whatever. And man, it's funny how so many things share commonality, whether it be live music or baseball. Once you find something that you and other people love, like you just become close, just like that, you know. And I managed to not suck by the last couple of days. I was getting some good base hits. I pitched.
Yeah, you were killing it.
Yeah, if anybody's ever thinking about it, yeah.
I will say, I've never seen you more happy in your entire life. You were in your element. Those pictures were incredible.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about too much on the show because this is a music podcast, but yeah, talk to me in person. I'll tell you all about it. You guys already know how obsessed I am with like Braves baseball. I have a number of obsessions, whether it be like spacey stuff or live music or baseball. I was able to really, you know, kick one off the bucket list this past week.
You'll have to talk to Thomas from Canada about it because he's a huge fan.
Yes, I shall. Now, all right, Brooke, you're up.
You're up.
Okay. So I have been reading this book series called Fourth Wing. Just finished the second book, Iron Flame. And the third book, Onyx Storm, comes out January 21st. So if you're into dragons and violence and smut, you should totally read these books. They're really, really good.
I like those things.
They're like on the same level as ACOTAR of Court of Thorns and Roses, if you're familiar. Really, really good book. And if you already know, then you are going to be like me and you're just waiting, counting down the days to January 21st, because that book is going to either crush our souls or answer a lot of questions, because Iron Flame left off on a crazy cliffhanger. I'm just glad I don't have to wait months and months and months or years for the next book, because it's coming out in literally next week. So super excited about that.
Okay, you'll have to report back with the review after you plow through it in a week, probably.
Man, I'm so scared.
Sharla, do you have anything for us?
So I started watching this show called American Primeval, and it's with Taylor Kitsch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
Tim
found
Riggins.
Yeah. The way I found it was there's an article that said that Taylor Kitsch had been asked to be in the new Friday Night Lights reboot.
Oh, boy.
What?
Yeah. And he might come back as like a guest star here and there. So I guess that confirms that the Friday Night Light reboots is going to be set in the same universe. So
I suppose
the
so.
whole thing. Yeah. But so anyways, American Primeval, it's pretty good so far. I only watched the first couple of episodes, but it's pretty good so far. I can't wait for you to watch it with me, Daniel. I think you'll really like it. And then something else. If anyone remembers the band, they used to be called A Tribe Called Red.
Yes.
And then they changed their name to The Hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
They had a new song out yesterday.
Oh.
Yes.
Really?
They broke up.
Right. And they haven't had anything out in like for forever. And go check that out because that new song they put out was absolute fire.
Okay, bet.
And that is one artist that I just don't think I'm ever going to get to see. And they played Bonnaroo like back in like, I want to say like 2014. And they played late night. And back in those years, I thought late night was, oh my God, I can't stay up past 11 p.m. Oh my God. So I obviously did not go see them, but I guess we'll never get to see them now, but go check it out. The Hallucination, the song they put out. I mean, like I said, it was just a banger. So check it out.
We'll have to listen to it here in a minute.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, cool. Well, this was a good follow-up episode to your lineup drop episode. And again, I have to brag on you. I didn't want to have to be the one to point it out, but I think it's so cool that we had like one of the biggest episodes of the year, like an all-women thing. Y'all killed it. I've heard so many good compliments from people that have texted me when I talked with the Calliope ladies today. They were raving about you guys. So fantastic job to you guys and everybody else. Everybody, again, Sharla, remind us about the totem events because they're coming up quick.
Okay, January the 21st. So it'll be No, I'm sorry. January the 19th. Why do I keep saying the 21st?
Because that's the day Onyx Storm comes out.
January the 19th. Sunday, January the 19th. Rosemary and Queen.
Yeah, and then Valentine's Day weekend in New York. So if you're in either area, we hope to see you there. We'll have some fun stuff. And honestly, it's just a chance for us Ruvians to chill. We'll put a playlist of like artists from the lineup and just hang out for an hour or two. So we hope to see you there. We want to see you in person. We do
Sunday,
a lot of these. Go ahead, Jay.
Monday, January 19th, Rosemary and Beauty Queen in Nashville.
Yes, thank you.
3 p.m.
Yeah, we do a lot of these things online. We get together on the farm in June, of course, but it would be nice to hang out at other times and other places as well. So we hope to see you out. All right, guys, if you got nothing else, I suppose that's it for this week. Charlotte, one thing I want to do for future episodes is I want to bring back our FAQ episodes.
We might.
We might, she says. No, we will. I think that's a good idea. It's always a helpful thing. All right, guys. So we'll see you with that or something else next week. Until then, get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you soon.
Oh, oh, oh.